Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday the 16th, and this past Friday, Mama June, the new season started. It airs Friday nights on WeTV. I'll be doing a recap each Monday. If it doesn't upload till Tuesdays, because these recaps are usually long and take a while to edit. Also, my kids are out of school for the summer and my studio is not complete, so I'm still filming in the house. If you guys do hear little voices in the background, I do apologize. My husband is working extra hard to try to get the studio up and running so I can transfer to filming in the studio and there won't be any distractions. So anyways, I'm going to give you guys a recap of what went on this past Friday's episode of Mama June Road to Redemption. It is still called Mama June Road to Redemption. So a lot of you guys may know, if you've kind of kept up with Mama June the past few weeks or whatever, or the past few months, that she's no longer with Geno, but they start filming, she is actually still with Geno. So the beginning of the episode, we are brought to Pumpkin's new house, Pumpkin and Josh. It seems they are in a new home. Now, they don't say if they've bought this new home or if they're renting this new home. They just say that they needed a bigger home due to the fact that they have Alana, they have Ella, they have Jessica, and then she's pregnant with, baby Bentley at this time. So she just says, that they have a new home. They're moving into the home as the show starts. I've heard through a very reliable source that production always pays for them an Airbnb. That like their real house is not in like the best of shape. This is just what I heard, so this is allegedly that the real home is not in like the best of shape. So they usually rent them an Airbnb, which would explain the deer heads. Like in the show, when they are showing off the house or whatever, and Pumpkin's talking about the house, she's like, what house do you know comes with deer heads? Like, I don't really know many people that buy a home and they leave their deer heads in the home when they sell it. I don't know. Most people take those with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live in the country where everybody has deer heads in their house, and that's a prized possession. You pay a lot to have those deer heads mounted and everything, so you take them with you. So I don't know. It was kind of strange when I saw the deer heads, and she's like, what house comes with deer heads? So I am wondering if this is a rental that production paid for them to film in. I'm not sure. Anyways, so the way it goes, Alana, she has the whole downstairs, like, basement area. There's like a bedroom, and I think there may be other rooms down there, maybe bathroom. I'm not sure, because they just talk about her having like a whole living quarters, basically. That's kind of what they're discussing. Ella has her own room. Bentley has his own room. Josh and Pumpkin obviously have their own room. And then Jessica is still on the couch. But, still it is a lot bigger than the other house that they were living in. So the show starts, she's pregnant, they're moving into this new home, and they talk about Mama June, how they haven't seen her, but that she's calling Pumpkin almost every night complaining about Geno. Also, I forgot to mention this, not only does Alana have the whole like downstairs, there's like an exit and entrance downstairs, and Pumpkin has allowed her to start dating. So Josh is like, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that because I know what I was doing at that age. I know how guys are. She's got an entrance to the downstairs area, so we got to keep an eye out for her. So he does go down and he has a conversation with Alana. He's like, I'm going to be keeping an eye on you. Like, just because you have this area and now you're old enough to date, I'm watching you, And she's just like, Josh, whatever, like, leave me alone. So anyways, yes, Mama June has not really come around, but she's calling quite frequently, and it's always at night, and she's complaining about Geno. So that night they put Ella to bed, and Pumpkin goes to Bentley's room. She's pregnant, and she's sitting in the little rocker glider, and she's eating her ice cream, and Mama June calls. And June appears to look kind of tired and weary, like, just not well. And Pumpkin says, you don't look well. Like, you look really tired, And she says, she's like, I am tired. I'm stressed. Like, I'm dealing with a lot. Geno's drinking again, and it's getting bad. Like, he's drank, like, she throws out this, like, crazy number of beers. She's like, and then after that, he moved to wine. He's passed out now. But, like, I'm just tired of dealing with this. Like, this is a struggle for me with my sobriety, for him to be drinking. Like, each day, I have that devil on my shoulder saying, well, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. So I'm really struggling here. And she basically insinuates that Geno's become like kind of possessive over her, that he'll say things like, what are you going to do? Leave me in my sleep, So she expresses to Pumpkin that she wants to leave him. She's like, I want to leave him. I just don't know how. And she says, listen, he's got a court date coming up soon. I want you to come and I want to leave him. Like, he may go to jail. And she's like, if he goes to jail, great. That'll be my opportunity to leave. And she says, if he don't go to jail, at least, you know, the sheriff and everybody will be there. So I'll be able to make my getaway. And Pumpkin is like, yeah, right. You're not going to leave. You always say this. You're known for staying in toxic relationships. Like, you was with Sugar Bear. You didn't leave him for the longest, you know, then Geno. I just don't believe it. Like, you call me saying this, and then, you know, the next day you'll call and you'll be like, oh, it's better. It's fine. Everything's great. She's like, so I just don't believe it. And June's like, I'm going to show you. Like, I'm tired of this. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Please be to the court date so I have a way to leave. So Pumpkin at first is like, I don't know. I'll have to see. You know, I'm tired of dealing with this craziness from y'all. So anyways, they get off the phone. The next day she meets up with Dodo at like a sandwich shop. And she tells Dodo like kind of what the deal is. She's like, you know, I have all this on my plate. Like, I'm dealing with Alana. I'm dealing with Jessica, Ella, being pregnant. But the main person that causes me stress is my mom. She calls me every other night complaining about Geno. And, you know, I've told her she needs to leave, but she won't leave. And then she tells Dodo about June's plan. She's like, what she wants to do is wait until the court date, me come, and if he gets put in jail, great, that'll be her out. But if he doesn't get put in jail, she wants to like sneak off with us, you know, after the court date or whatever. Just kind of leave with us, you know. In a confessional, Dodo says that that's kind of how June is. Like, she doesn't face anything. She has no consequences, you know. She's like, June was arrested for drugs. No consequences. She didn't get put in jail. She wants to leave Geno, but she wants to sneak away and do it. She don't want to just be like, hey, I'm leaving you. She's like, her kids, she don't raise her kids. She throws them off on Pumpkin. She like calls June out. She's like, she has no... Like, she takes accountability for nothing. She doesn't face anything. She never gets punished. That's just June. She just, you know, sneaks away in the middle of the night so she don't have to face Geno. She don't go to jail when she does wrong. She don't tend to her kids. And I'm like, girl, okay, all right, Dodo, I guess so, you know. Back at the table, though, Pumpkin's telling Dodo, she's like, listen, you know, Mama says she wants to leave him. I don't know if she really does, but he is drinking a lot, and that does concern me. Mama is fresh in her sobriety. You know, she's just a few months in, and I'm concerned what's going to happen if she stays with him. And Dodo also says, like, yes, I don't want Geno's drinking to pull June back in to drinking and drugging as well. You know, like, she's going to have to leave, or something's going to have to change. And Pumpkin says the same thing. She's like, I can't keep dealing with this. Like, I'm raising the kids. I have another baby on the way. If she don't leave, I can't keep doing this. So Pumpkin basically asked Dodo, like, will you go to the court date with me? And Dodo was like, yes, I'm not going to miss it. Like, I've been to everyone so far, and I'm going to continue going to them, you know. So they decide they will go to Geno's court date together. Now, Mama June's already been to court. She got her sentencing, which was like community service, probation, drug test. There was a lot of stipulations, but she did not go to jail. You know, now Geno is looking at time, like he's looking at the possibility of 10 years. So Mama June is really thinking like there's a big possibility he may go to jail, right? And she's telling Pumpkin that he's drinking all the time, that she's scared of him, and that she wants to get away. So yeah, Pumpkin and Dodo, they decide to go to the court date. Now, Alana and Jessica, they keep Ella that day, so Pumpkin can go. Now, it's like quite a drive because the court date is in Alabama and they live in Georgia. So they have to drive in to the court date. They pull up and they're waiting and they're kind of discussing like, you know, maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe this will be the easiest way if he does go to jail. And Pumpkin just basically says again, like, if he don't go to jail and she don't leave, like, I can't keep doing this. Mama June and Geno pull up, and Mama June acts like shocked, like, hey, what are you guys doing here? Like, girl, you told them to come, you know, but she acts shocked. And they're like, well, of course we're going to come, you know, always got to be here. And she's like, well, thank y'all. And Geno's like, yeah, thank y'all, I appreciate it. And they ask him, like, Geno, so what's the deal? Like, what do you think the possibilities are here? And he says, well, there's two situations that could occur. I could get, let me read it because I got it written down here. He said, I could get community corrections, which is a strict program where you serve out your sentence within the community. So you don't actually go to jail. You serve your sentence in the community, but it's basically like probation from my understanding. Like, you can't leave out of state. You got to do drug tests. There's a lot of things you got to do. He says, or he will go to jail. You know, he'll just go to jail and serve out his sentence in jail. And they ask him, like, well, would that be today? Like, would you go to jail today? And he said he hopes not. That if he is sentenced to jail, he's going to ask the judge to allow him to go back home for a few days to get his affairs in order and then turn himself in. Mama June, as he's talking about this, you can see she's kind of like annoyed at this possibility that he would want to come home for a few days, you know. So after that, Mama June and Geno, they make their way into the courthouse. As they're walking off, he tells Dodo and Pumpkin, he goes, wish me luck. And they're like, good luck. You know, very like, good luck. Like, not really, you know. So he goes inside and it's like 1 hour later that they come out. But before they come out, Pumpkin and Dodo, once again, they're talking about it. And Pumpkin's like, what kind of judge would allow a convicted felon to go home to get his affairs in order? Like, surely no judge would do that. And she was like, because if a judge is going to allow a convicted felon to go home to get his affairs in order, like, how does he know he won't run? And he was like, because she's like, Geno probably would run. And then Dodo says, yeah, he probably would run, and he would probably try to convince your mom to run as well. And Pumpkin just says, like, oh, if he did that, that'd just be stupid. Like, if she ran with him, she deserves what she got coming to her, you know, because that would just be like the most ridiculous thing for her to do. So a little while later, they see Mama June coming out, and the sheriff is like helping her down the steps. And they're like, here she comes. He's not with her. And I think WeTV did this to make it appear like Geno got locked up or whatever, because Mama June's walking down the steps. The sheriff's helping her come down, and they're all like, where is he? He's not with her. Making it appear like he got arrested or whatever. And then here he comes. And I'm like, why did he not just walk with Mama June? Like, Mama June couldn't wait a few seconds. I really think that was like for TV, you know, but then here he comes. And when he walks out and they see him, they go, oh my God, really? So they're irritated about the fact that he didn't get locked up. So they walk out, and Pumpkin and Dodo's like, so what happened? And he says, well, they postponed my court date. Like, all the paperwork wasn't in order for the community, what's it called? The community corrections program. So that's what he has filed to participate in. Like, he has filled out paperwork to participate in the community corrections program. But the paperwork has not been processed yet. So he's like, they pushed my court date back. Everybody's irritated because they're like, they couldn't have just called us, you know, like everybody had to drive in for this. Like, we live in Georgia, you guys live in Florida. They couldn't just call and say it's been postponed. And he's like, yeah, that's what I was asking, you know, like that's what I was wondering, because we drove all the way here. At that point, it goes to like a confessional where Mama June talks about her wanting to break up with Geno and why she made the decision to break up with Geno. And she basically says that due to him drinking, that it's caused her to kind of lose herself, that she does struggle, that when he drinks, she is, you know, going through a lot. And she says, there's this devil on my shoulder saying, oh, if you just go get some Coke or get some crack, you don't have to feel these feelings. So while she's watching him, she may not want to participate in the drinking, but it makes her want to do more. So she's like, I'm just losing who I am, like the sober me, right? So she's like, I know I have to leave. So after that, the girls are kind of like, Dodo and Pumpkin, they're kind of standing there like, oh, so are you going to tell him bye? Like, are you going to tell him, like, deuces, baby, I'm out? And they're just kind of waiting for her to say something. And she goes, well, I guess we're going to head back, and we'll be back in Alabama in a couple weeks. And they're just like, really? And Geno says, I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. And he walks off. And they're like, really? You're not going to leave? Like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, we drove all this way. You said you were going to leave. And she's like, I just can't. I can't do it right now. Like, I thought I would be able to, but it's a lot harder than you guys think. Pumpkin and Dodo get in the car, and they're very irritated. And they're like, no, it's not. All it is, like, is you tell him you're leaving. That's what it is. It's that simple. And Mama June says, I can't do that because I'm worried about the safety of y'all and me. Like, I'm worried about what Geno may do if I leave. Like, I'm worried that something's going to happen, you know. And she says several times, like, I'm worried about the safety of us. So they're very irritated that she's not going to leave. They're basically going off on her, like, about not leaving. And Mama June's like, y'all don't know the stress that I deal with. And Pumpkin's like, no, you don't know the stress that I deal with. I am pregnant. I am raising Ella. I am raising your 2 children. So don't tell me about stress. And after she said that, Mama June's like, no, you don't know about my stress. And I'm like, girl, calm down. No, June, don't say that. Don't tell Pumpkin that she don't know about stress. Like, what you're dealing with right now is because you're allowing yourself to deal with it. Like, you're dealing with, you know, your boyfriend's issues. You can leave at any time. Pumpkin has no choice. She has no choice. She can't not take in Alana. She can't not take it. Well, I guess she could not take in Jessica, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, Alana's there. It's what it is. And she's got 2 kids, like, and she's dealing with June's issues, you know? So I was kind of offended when Pumpkin's like, you don't know the stress that I'm under dealing with, you know, all the kids and being pregnant. And June's like, no, you don't know the stress that I'm under. I'm like, oh, girlfriend, calm down. Pump the brakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I really feel like I really feel like June doesn't think about it. Like, I feel like June only thinks about her stress at times and not what Pumpkin is dealing with. And the reason Pumpkin is dealing with so much is because of June's decisions. Like, I don't feel like she gets it at times. Anyways, after that, they bring up the possibility of Geno, if he gets sentenced to prison and he has time to, like, get his affairs in order, him running. And Dota's like, you know, what if he runs and he tries to get you to run with him? And June's like, oh, he's not going to run. But one thing that they brought up, Pumpkin brought up, she said, you know, you never do what you need to do. Like, you stayed with Sugar Bear when you were in a bad relationship, when physically and verbally abusive. Now you're staying with Geno in a bad relationship where he's physically and verbally abusive. And Mama June did correct her. She goes, no, he's not physically abusive. So I'm glad that she did that, because I was even wondering, like, what's really going on here? Like, is she trying to make, you know, the viewers believe that he's putting his hands on her? But she did straighten that out when Pumpkin said he's physically and verbally abusing you. She goes, oh, no, not physical. It's not physical. Which I really didn't think so. Like, I really didn't think. I don't know. Like, I don't know. When the show first started, and well, when Geno first came on the show, I wasn't the biggest fan of him. But I've come to really like Geno. Like, I'm supposed to have him on my channel soon. I'm actually just waiting for my studio to get finished, so I won't have any distractions or, like, kids in the background or anything like that. And he's going to come on and we're going to talk, you know, about what he's got going on in life or whatever. So I actually grew to like Geno, and he's doing really good now. But he did relapse, and he will talk about that. He will talk about he relapsed. He was not doing well. He even was suicidal at a point. So, and I think it was during that time, a really dark time for him, to where, you know, he's back drinking and, you know, fighting these demons that while he relapsed, thankfully June didn't. So they were just in completely different, they were on completely different levels. You know, he's relapsed and he's not doing well, and she's still sober and she is doing well. So there was no way that the two could make it work like that, right? So anyways, she does tell Pumpkin, no, not physical. But they're irritated and they're like, you know what, we're leaving and we're not coming to the next court date. Deuces. So they leave. Mama June gets back in the car with Geno and they head out. On the way home, Pumpkin and Dodo, of course, talk about how they're disappointed, how they just don't understand why she just don't leave. And they're irritated, right? So they get back home, and Pumpkin, she goes in Alana's room and she sits down and she talks to Alana. And she tells Alana that June didn't leave, that Geno didn't go to jail, and June is still with him. And Alana's irritated. She's like, what? Are you serious? Like, she didn't leave? After calling you all the time, complaining to you about his drinking, she didn't leave? And Alana says something that was very interesting. Alana says, not all adults were made to be parents. That's what she says. She says, not all adults were made to be parents. Which I thought was, she's wise beyond her years at times, you know what I'm saying? Like, thinking that way. Because June definitely hasn't put her kids first several times, you know, especially Alana. Like, we're seeing that, you know, even now, like, why I support June and I support her sobriety, and I always wish the best for her. When her and Geno broke up, rather than trying to continue to work on that relationship with her kids, she jumped, you know, she was like entertaining all these guys and traveling to be with these guys, and jumped right back into another relationship. And it's just like, girl, pump the brakes and just, like, focus on your family. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, you know, she talks about her disappointment that June didn't do what she said she was going to do, and how, you know, June just, maybe she wasn't meant to be a parent. And Pumpkin brings up Sugar Bear. You know, she's like, I feel bad for you. You got Sugar Bear, you got Mama, but I'm always here for you. Like, I know I'm not your mama, but I will do everything I can to be a good role model for you, and to take care of you. And she's like, I know, I appreciate it. And then they talk about Alana getting older and wanting more time to like hang out with her friends and not have to watch Ella all the time. So she asked Pumpkin, she's like, could you give Jessica more duty to watch Ella so I can hang out with my friends more? And she says yes. She says, I will let you start hanging out with your friends a little bit more, and I'll have Jessica watch Ella more, as long as your grades are good. If your grades are good, you can hang out with friends more, but once your grades start slipping, you will be back on Ella duty. So like a week or so later, Pumpkin goes into labor with baby Bentley. Her and Josh get into the car and they head to the hospital. Jessica stays behind with Alana and Ella. She gets to the hospital. We see a few clips, you know, of her in labor, and then we see the clip of after baby Bentley is born. I think he weighed 7 pounds and 8 ounces. They named him Bentley James, I think. I know it's Bentley. Jessica came and Jessica's like recording, and Jessica's asking her like, how was it? And she goes, it was a lot different than when I was in labor with Ella. This was like one push and he was out, and it was like, great, I'm fine. They bring Ella in to see the baby, and it was this cutest thing. Like, first off, Ella's like the cutest kid, and Bentley's the cutest kid, so it's like so cute. You know, they put her on the bed and they let her hold Bentley, and like the first thing she says after she kisses his head, she's like, he's so cute, and it literally just melts your heart, you know. And this, my thought when I saw that is, this is amazing, that this is going to be something they have forever. That when Ella is grown, she'll be able to watch back this clip of the first time she met her brother, and the first thing she said about her brother is how cute he is, you know, and that'll be something that her little brother will have as well. Like these home videos, if you will, of the first time his sister held him. I just thought that was really cute. As parents, I would love to have cameras follow me around everywhere, sometimes, not all the time, where I would have those memories stored. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I just thought that was really cute. So then Alana comes in and she gets to see the baby, and she holds the baby, and she asks Pumpkin, she's like, so have you heard from Mama? And she's like, no, I have not. I've texted, I've called, nothing. Like, she's not responding. I have no idea. So they're all just kind of like, wow, really? Like, June's not even going to show up for you to have the baby? Like a day or two later, they are heading home. Pumpkin, Alana, and Jessica, they are back at the house making signs for the baby, you know, welcome home. And as they're making signs, Alana says, I just cannot believe Mama didn't show up. Like, she didn't show up for the labor. She hasn't showed up afterwards, and she hasn't even called. And she asked Jessica, she's like, have you talked to Mama? And Jessica's like, no, I haven't. And Alana's like, I haven't either. I haven't heard anything from her, and I don't think Pumpkin has. And they just talk about how it's so not like her. And then Jessica says, you know, what if something really did happen? Because this isn't like her. So, like, what if something really did happen? And Alana obviously gets kind of a scared look on her face, like, you know, I hope not. So then, anyways, Pumpkin and Josh, they come home with the baby. Ella is all over the baby, you know, wanting to hold the baby, wanting to kiss the baby. And once again, they talk about Mama June. And Pumpkin's just like, I'm bothered. Like, I am bothered. She talks about how when she had Ella, how Mama June had just had eyesight surgery, and she was not supposed to like be up moving around with her eyes uncovered. And she drove all the way to the hospital, and I think it was like a couple hours to the hospital to be there to see the baby, to see Ella. You know, she's like, she risked her eyesight to come and see Ella, but now we can't even get in touch with her for baby Bentley. Like, I'm bothered. In a confessional, she's talking about how bothered she is, and Josh is like, I thought everything was great. Like, this was picture perfect for me, you know. And she's like, but it wasn't for me. That's my mom, and at the end of the day, I wanted her there. So clearly Pumpkin, you know, she's upset. Who wouldn't be? You know, they did have a close relationship. Like, really, when you go back and you look at Tyler's and Tiara's and Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, they all were super close. So I imagine it is tough for her, you know, going through these things, and all of a sudden her mama not there. So anyways, it pops up on the screen that it's been 3 weeks since anyone has heard from June, that she stopped communicating with production, and then all of a sudden she reached out to production and asked them to meet her at a hotel in Alabama. So they met up with June in a hotel in Alabama, and they're like, why did you ask us here? And she said, first off, Geno does not know where I'm at. Please do not tell him where I'm at. And they tell her they're not, you know. So she sits down and she says that she left Geno in the middle of the night. He went to sleep or passed out. She packed, you know, a few outfits and then got an Uber, and she took off. And that she has not talked to Geno. She doesn't want him to know where he's at. And she said she had attempted to do this several times. She'd attempted several times to leave, but never could do it. But she says something about this night was different, and she was able to do it. June tells the producers that a lot has went on behind closed doors that nobody knows about. and that she is tired of lying and hiding the truth, and that she's about to tell them something. She said, I'm about to tell you guys something that's going to shock a lot of people and probably make a lot of people mad. She admits that she's been struggling. Like I said, again, she talks about this devil on her shoulder when Geno is drinking. This devil is telling her, just go get you some Coke or some crack, and you can do that, and you won't have to feel these feelings that you feel, when Geno is doing this. So just go do that. So she's like, I'm really been struggling. Geno is drinking a lot, and I'm really struggling. So I had to leave, and I brought you guys here because I really need to come clean. And what I'm going to say is going to tick a lot of people off. And that's where it goes off, you guys. The biggest cliffhanger. And then a part of me is like, is it going to be something big? I don't know. But like the way she's talking, it makes me, I'm like, it's something big there. But then I'm like, I know how TV can be. Like they will pump up something and it'll be nothing, It'll be like nothing, So a part of me was like, is it a pregnancy? Is it that she's met someone new? Like, is it something big, or is it just, she's like, Geno's relapsed. Well, duh, we know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be stating the obvious. But she says it's something that's going to tick a lot of people off. So I don't know, but I feel like it's going to be big, but then there's a part of me that's like, it probably isn't. So that's where we're at, you guys. Once again, Geno goes live on his Instagram, and I did notice, he went live the other night, and a lot of people was telling him like, hey, the show's making you look bad. The show's making you look bad. And I didn't see him respond to that. And I'm glad that he's not letting, because he's doing really good right now. So I'm really glad that, he's not letting that get to him. And I think he even knows, like, I was struggling then. So, of course, they're going to try to put it, whatever. They're going to try to put it off all on Geno. He was struggling in the end, and he was the one that obviously was not doing the best. June was still sober, according to her. And then she was having to live with him as he was drinking all the time. So it was hard on her. I don't believe that he abused her, I just think probably her trying to live with someone who was no longer sober while she tried to maintain that was some sort of abuse to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she probably thought, well, you don't care enough about my sobriety to stay sober. Now you're putting me in this situation, and then her having to witness it. I feel like it was a tough situation for her, but I just feel like Geno was continuing to try to fight his demons. I don't think he was intentionally trying to hurt June. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I said, I'm supposed to have him on my channel where we will talk about a lot. I don't know how much he's going to be willing to talk about the June situation, and I don't want to trigger him in any way. So, when I do talk to him about coming on my channel, I'll figure out what all we can talk about. If you guys have questions, please send them to my email account, annettenet216@gmail.com. I will be recapping each Monday morning. Hopefully it'll go up sometime this evening. Also, if you are following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, I will be going live tonight to watch the trial. Now, I can't watch it during the day because I work. And a lot of people work during the day and cannot sit in front of the computer for 5 or 6 hours out of the day watching this trial. A lot of people, maybe trying to watch it on their lunch break. So I just decided, since I can't watch it during the day, maybe I should just live stream it at night. And all those people that can't watch it during the day, they can join me. So if you guys would like to join me in watching the trial tonight, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure your bell is rang. I will be live at probably about 8:30 and 9 p.m. Central Time. Also, I'll be doing these recaps every Monday, covering the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. I cover a lot of reality TV situations. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Also, like I said, my husband is in the process of trying to finishing up my studio. If you guys would like to help contribute to that, please consider donating to my PayPal or Cash App account. If not, just watching the video, giving it a thumbs up, and leaving your comment also goes a long way. So please leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.